welcome back to Let's Play Phoenix Wright Justice for All. My name's SkiniMini.
And I'm Pharaoh.
Last episode we did some stuff, and we broke two people's cyclocks, and so now there's this big scandal between Adrian Andrews and Juan Corrida, apparently, that Lotta was trying to get all up in. So... so...
Wait, she's trying to get into the affair? Ooh!
Oh god, I don't know anything anymore. Anyway, so, we can't really... Did we talk to her already? Yeah, we did, okay.
Oh, that's not new. Yeah, we did.
Good. No, I don't need to prepare myself. Okay, but I think we should go see Gumshoe.
Gumshoe! Hold on, yeah. It's one of those things again where you gotta, like, figure out how to maneuver properly.
Yeah.
Throughout the area.
This game has issues with that.
God, the blue badger thing is still there.
He looks so demented.
It's like, I'm gonna... I can't do it anymore. That's my Louis Armstrong.
Gosh.
Detective Gumshoe said they had an investigation briefing.
Yeah. Oh, he's back.
Hey, so you came, pal. Why the blunt greeting? Because there's nothing to be friendly or happy about.
Uh-oh.
What do you mean by that? Well, things look perfect this time around. The evidence and testimony are tight. But, we can't just roll over and die. We have to stay positive. Come on, Gumshoe, what the hell's wrong with you?
Come on, Gumshoe, I mean, seriously. Okay, let's go ahead and present that article. Where is it? The magazine clipping, yeah, that's right.
Say, yeah, this one.
Yeah, I thought it said newspaper. That's why it was kind of weird.
That's all good.
Okay. You got any info on this, dog?
We're pretty interested in this bit of gossip ourselves. Scandal of Mr. Corrida? But why? Well, 2 years ago, a woman committed suicide.
Oh my god.
Oh, okay.
Suicide?
Her name was Celeste Inpax. And she was Juan Corrida's manager. The victim's manager? Well, that's not all, pal. Miss Inpax and Miss Adrian Andrews' mentor. She taught Miss Andrews everything she knew about the business from square one.
Her mentor.
A woman who was both Mr. Corrida's manager and Miss Andrews' mentor. Could her suicide have something to do with this case? You want to know more about her, pal?
Yes, that means we can talk to her.
Stupid question.
Oh god.
She was the victim's manager and was also Miss Adrian's mentor. It's been 2 years since her suicide, and now these two are linked again by another death. Or maybe it's just a coincidence? Uh-oh, but...
I'm getting sick of dealing with one foolish idiot after another.
Oh, wait, Gumshoe. Miss One Karma!
You can't seem to stop allying yourself with the enemy, can you? I don't need a traitor in my midst.
You don't mean...
I do, Scruffy. You have 30 minutes to get out of here. You are no longer needed. Goodbye.
That's...
Wait! Please wait, sir! If I don't get this month's pay, I'll start...
Quiet! If it weren't for traitors like you...
You ready? I would have won. Is that what you want to say?
Who?
That voice! Edgeworth!
So happy.
Oh no, I can't tell. It's been a long time, right?
This person? This is Mr. Edgeworth?
What am I going to do with you? Still blaming others when things go wrong. You haven't changed a bit, Franziska.
You! How dare you show your face to me without a shred of shame upon it! You soiled the Von Karma name and dragged it through the mud. Run away with your tails between your legs like the ill-bred dog you are!
Are you talking about the Von Karma family creed? To be perfect in every way? Then let's hear it, Franziska. How are things going? I hear you're having a rough time maintaining perfection in this country.
You!
You seem to be getting crushed under the weight of it all. That's why I came back.
Keep your assumptions to yourself. I haven't given yet. I won't lose. This case is mine. I'll never hand it over to you. Never! Mr. Phoenix Wright, I will see you tomorrow in court. It will be a clinical lesson on the meaning of total victory.
Still the same wild mare she always was.
Oh. I'm so happy, you guys. Let's talk to him. He's just a kid and he still looks the same.
Oh my god. It's only been a year.
Still.
I thought you, the prosecutor Miles Edgeworth, has gone and died.
Mr. Nick!
I never wanted to see you again. I think that's enough of a warm welcome for someone you haven't seen in a year.
Jeez.
Are you gonna seriously? Are you going to run tomorrow's trial? You heard her right. That wild mare hasn't given in yet, it seems. So no, I don't think I would make an appearance. Your hatred for me is quite unhealthy, not to mention one-sided. But I will say one thing. You can't win on your own at the trial tomorrow. What is that supposed to mean? I have something definitive that you lack.
Uh-oh.
And that's the definition of teamwork. It's the power to find the truth. The truth? In order to understand this case, you have to understand a certain truth. Well, if you ever feel the need for my assistance, it's available to you. I'm not in charge of this case, so I can be a bit more generous of information. Just what's going on inside his head?
Okay, what about proof of Von Karma's blood? What the heck?
A lot of things may have happened. However, Manfred Von Karma was still my mentor. And a perfect win record is proof of a Von Karma. 1 year ago, you could not establish guilt in a few cases. Are those losses the reason you suddenly disappeared from the prosecutor's office? Did you leave because you had lost your perfect win record? To think your motivation for prosecuting trials was so selfish. It'd been better for everyone if you never came back from the dead, Edgeworth.
Oh, Phoenix.
You know... I see. Then let me ask you something. Why do you stand in the courtroom? What's your reason?
Oh, why does Phoenix stand in court?
That's easy. Well, if I was Franziska, she would almost definitely say,
I will defeat you this time.
the instant she saw me. But the courtroom is not a personal battlefield for prosecutors and lawyers. I stay in a courtroom to defend my client. To save their lives. To save your client, you say? Those who think only of their own ego-driven goals, those kind of prosecutors are reprehensible to me. Even if you're a prodigy. Or someone like you, Edgeworth.
Ouch.
It looks like there's still a lot you have yet to learn. A lot I have yet to learn? Me? Well, that's enough for now. The time when you will see is coming soon enough.
What do you mean?
Why'd you come back all philosophical and everything? I can't just...
You didn't say why you left. You didn't say anything about, or the reason why or how. I mean, where'd you go? Did you bring me back some souvenirs? I mean, just questions like that.
Is that really all you care about at the moment?
Yes, I missed him. Shut up, okay?
Okay.
Okay, hey, we got some questions on this lady. This one who's... Oh, hers... Oh. Yeah, this lady. Can you give us some info on her?
This woman is another key to this case. Do you really think so? She was Adrian Andrews' mentor a long time ago.
You're excused, Edgeworth.
Oh, sorry. But suddenly, she was called away by production and became Juan Carrita's manager. And then, a few months later, Celeste Inpax died. But her death was a suicide, right? Yes. But there's still one riddle left unsolved. A riddle? Her suicide note.
Uh-oh.
It went missing. No one could find it. A suicide note that just vanished, huh? That seems kind of odd.
Yeah. That's kind of weird. Let's talk about that. The missing suicide note.
Miss Inpax's death was most certainly a suicide. Of that, there is no mistake. However, we could not find her suicide note. That's when the police began to suspect that somebody had hidden it. A suicide note? But how do you know Miss Inpax had even written such a note? Well, there's no solid evidence. However, we did find traces of ink on her right index finger.
Ah, that makes sense.
Which makes the likelihood of a suicide note very high. But who would hide such a thing?
Yeah, that's kind of jacked up.
Very. The police think it was Mr. Juan Carrita himself. The victim? Oh, God. I kind of forgot how this image even existing.
Yeah.
He was the one who found her body. Which makes him the only person who had a chance to hide her suicide note. Mr. Carrita hid his own manager's suicide note? But why? As long as her note is missing, any speculation beyond this is meaningless. For now, I think you should look this over. This is a suicide report. Part 1, anyway. Part 1?
Part 1? Yeah, what?
Jeez, must be huge then.
Okay, well, can you give us more information about the suicide note? Where is it? There we go.
I don't like to look through reports. I like suicide reports even less. Worst of all are the reports that have multiple parts, like that one. That has 2. 2 parts? What you just handed me is the first part of the report. Here's the second part. The second part of the report is about an attempted suicide. The attempter's name... Adrian Andrews!
Miss Andrews? What does she do?
She tried to kill herself. She doesn't seem like the kind of person to try and kill herself. You think she's a strong career woman? That's just her image. Adrian Andrews. She has a certain secret she's always trying to hide.
A secret?
Her codependency. That's the key word. Codependency?
Oh.
The word most unsuited to be describing that woman. Definitely, jeez.
Yeah, what about this codependency?
And why did I have to give you the first part for you to give me the second part?
Yeah, that was the weird part of this whole thing. I'm like, what?
It's like, yeah, that's the first part I gave you. Here's the second one. Thank you. So, how are Adrian Andrews and codependency related? Adrian Andrews' attempt at suicide was a few days after the death of Celeste Inpax. And why did Adrian Andrews think about committing suicide? Quite possibly because she had lost her will to live. Lost her will? But why would she?
Because of her mentor.
Her pillar of strength. Her mentor, Celeste Inpax, was gone forever. That's why. Why would that?
Is that what they call following someone to the grave?
Oh, the music. After her attempted suicide, Adrian Andrews started attending counseling sessions. She's a person who looks for someone who can trust unconditionally, and when she finds that someone, she blindly follows them. Without someone to guide her, she feels uneasy and can't carry herself through life. And That's her codependency? Celeste Inpax suddenly committed suicide. The world before her turned pitch dark. That's according to Adrian Andrews herself. Then, that means her super confident attitude. It's all a facade. She's only copying her mentor's behavior to hold herself together. How terrible.
Yeah, no kidding.
Jeez. I'm to be completely honest with everybody watching, I kind of forgot about these portions of the game here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of rough.
Yeah. Just for those who are very sensitive to topics like these, I'll put a warning in the video. But yes, it does talk about suicide. I mean, we talk about murder and everything, but this is a more serious bit because it's self-harm. So.
Right. Oh boy. All right.
Well, let's see if we can try and talk to Miss Andrews about it.
Well, nice seeing you, Edgeworth. And now there comes the happy music.
God, it's just this case is just really weird.
It does go all over the place. There are times where you're laughing, other times like you're on the verge of tears, other times where you're just totally pissed off. So you will see myself and Skinny just go everywhere.
Yeah, but when it's time to be serious, we'll be serious.
I'll try.
Oh, Miss Andrews is here. But it looks like she's talking with someone.
That's Franziska von Karma.
Mother of pearl.
Miss von Karma?
You mean Aunt Morgan?
I just realized what I said. Oh boy.
Joke!
What are you doing here?
Well, you see, I'm his lawyer, so...
You've got some nerve following me around.
Following you?
That's you, Miss von Karma. You're doing the following.
Pearls.
You're always following after that Mr. Detective with the little beard.
Oh, that's so cute. Me? Following after Scruffy? Don't make me laugh. I'll show you something interesting, little girl.
Oh god, I thought she was about to whip her for a second. I'm like, no, dear God,
no!
no!
Karma, I swear I will.
What is that?
An electromagnetic receiver. I planted a tracking device on that detective. And with this, I know that fool's every move.
So that noise we heard was this receiver.
Oh.
I feel really sorry for poor Detective Gumshoe now.
Now, let's stop wasting time. Adrian Andrews? Yes? Think about what we just discussed. Understood? All right.
What were those two talking about?
Miss Andrews. She seems a little dazed, doesn't she?
Yeah, no kidding.
She is kind of out of it.
Alright, let's talk to her, and I think we should end the episode. But, let's see. Oh, we don't need to talk to her. We need to break her lock. Excuse me.
Oh boy.
Because we got some dirt on you, sister.
Mm-hmm. Got those faux Cyclops, and someone tells me it's gonna be a little bit more tough than Wendy's.
Yeah.
Cyclops.
Alright. We can do this.
Why was Juan Carita murdered? If you ask me, I think you know the reason he was killed. Why are you hiding things? Don't you realize you're putting Mr. On-Guard's life in danger by your actions?
Why do you ask questions for which I have no answer? The truth is, I was not that close to Mr. Carita.
You were not that close?
That's right. I've never been good at being intimate with another person.
You're not good at being intimate with another person? Somehow, I highly doubt that.
Oh yeah, could check this newspaper clipping. It says y'all had a little affair. Well, not affair, they're not really. Meh. Anyway, present it.
And ignore the title, it says Gossip Land. That's for true. You and Mr. Carita had an intimate relationship, did you not?
A silly third-rate tabloid article. If you even... if you ever had half your wits about you, you wouldn't believe such rubbish.
Well, it seems quite a few people bought into this story.
As to be expected in a world filled with crooks and liars.
Note to self, stay on her good side.
In any case, I despise interpersonal relationships like that.
I see. However, what if there was a need for you to get close to someone?
Me? Need to get close to Mr. Corrida? As if there was ever such a need.
Didn't you get close to Mr. Corrida for this person's sake?
And it's actually Celeste.
Yeah, 'cause I remember there was a whole thing how she was Celeste Inpax, your mentor.
Why do you know about Celeste?
Miss Inpax. She committed suicide, didn't she? But it looks like no one knows why. Right before her death, she was Juan Corrida's manager. So, I believe you got close to Mr. Corrida so you can find out more about her suicide.
You have a great imagination. You may have a future yet as a slimy mudracker for a putrid third-rate tabloid.
Miss Andrews?
There was no mystery surrounding her death. None. It would be pointless for me to force myself into a relationship for nothing.
Is that really true? Was there really no mystery at all? I don't believe you were completely at ease with the way her suicide was resolved.
Yeah, because... Oh, here we go. Because of... Dang it. Jeez. Okay. Because of the suicide report.
It specifically states that why was her suicide note hidden? We don't know.
Exactly.
Miss Inpax's suicide note was never found, was it? It looks like the police were under the suspicion that someone had hidden it. Like maybe the person who discovered her body, Mr. Corrida.
Oh. Sorry. Juan?
And Miss Andrews, I believe you thought the same thing. That is why you became intimate with Mr. Corrida.
I've sat by quietly and listened to your insulting ramblings long enough. It's true that Celeste was my mentor. However, allow me to say this again. It had nothing to do with me. I didn't even know that her suicide note was never found. I'm a person who doesn't care about what goes on in the lives of others.
That's the impression you like to give. However, I don't think that's who you really are.
What?
I have evidence that says otherwise. This is proof that Celeste Inpax was someone very special to you.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. And it was the suicide report because of the shock from Celeste's suicide, you tried to commit suicide yourself. Take that!
Miss Andrews, you went through it too, didn't you?
Went through what?
A suicide. Miss Andrews, you look and act like a very strong woman who has it all together. You don't ask for anyone's help and you live by yourself.
Yes, I've been very independent ever since I can remember.
However, that is all just a lie. A facade. You've always searched out people on whom you can depend on.
That's...
You were dependent on Miss Inpax, weren't you? Which is why, when she passed away, you lost everything you had.
Stop! When Celeste passed away so suddenly like that, I died a death of my own. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't stop thinking about what had become of her note.
You must have heard about the police report. The one that said the police suspected Mr. Corrida of hiding Miss Inpax's note. You heard about it and you thought to recover it from him by getting close. Am I right? Now, if that's the case, then everything changes.
What do you mean?
What topic did we start this conversation on again?
It was why the victim was killed.
Exactly. Somehow, Miss Andrews, it seems that you have become the one most likely to want Mr. Corita dead.
Me?
Miss Inpax was everything to you. And then she died. And you would do anything to find out why she killed herself. Even commit murder.
Murder?
Wow.
That was intense.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we will find her motive for murder in the next episode, you guys. Oh boy.
Sounds good. We need a break.
Yes.
so much going on. Edgeworth came back and all this talk. It's just woo.
Alright guys, thank you so very much for watching. So very much. And if no one's told you that they love you today, I do.
Duh. And a big hug from all of us.
Yay! And if there's anything you need to talk about, we're here for you.
Yes, totally true. You can reach out to here or my channel, anyone.
Yay! Okay, bye guys!
Bye.